All right, everybody, welcome to another deep dive. You guys sent in some seriously interesting articles about AI and the 2024 elections.
Yeah, quite a bit to unpack.
Definitely. I mean, AI shaping campaigns and influencing voters. It's like we're living in a sci-fi movie. So buckle up.
Absolutely.
We're about to explore just how this cutting-edge tech is changing the political landscape.
Let's dive in.
Okay, so one of the big things you guys flagged was this idea of AI giving campaigns these crazy new tools.
Right, like remember that article you sent about how campaigns were analyzing social media with AI?
Yeah, they were like trying to figure out what makes voters tick.
Exactly. It's all about trying to tailor those campaign messages to specific groups.
Oh, and there was that example, what was it called? The XYZ campaign.
Mhm.
They were using AI to like predict which voters would be swayed by certain messages.
I micro-targeting. They
Yeah,
did.
micro-targeting. It's kind of creepy, but also fascinating, right?
Oh, for sure. But what's interesting is that, at least according to this report, it kind of backfired. Yeah, it seems like voters felt manipulated when they realized what was happening, like they saw right through it.
So authenticity still matters, huh?
Apparently so. More than some folks might have thought.
So maybe the impact of AI wasn't as huge as some people predicted?
I think that's a fair assessment. It seems like campaigns are still figuring out how to use all these new AI tools effectively.
Well, yeah, I mean, it is still pretty new tech, right?
Exactly.
Speaking of new tech, you sent this other article about AI writing campaign speeches. I mean, that's wild, right?
It is pretty wild. That's generative AI in action.
Generative AI. Remind me what that is again?
So it's basically AI that can create content like text, images, even audio. And it does it in a way that can be really convincing.
Okay, so that's kind of amazing, but also a little scary, right? Like, how do we know what's real anymore?
Right. I mean, you sent that article on deepfakes. That's a prime example of how this stuff can get tricky.
Deepfakes. Those AI-generated videos that make it look like anyone is saying or doing anything.
Exactly. And they're getting more and more sophisticated, harder to detect.
Imagine that during an election. A candidate could be completely misrepresented.
It's a real concern, no doubt. And it's not just about creating fake content from scratch either.
What do you mean?
Well, it's also about AI being used to manipulate existing content, like tweaking a video or audio clip just enough to change its meaning.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I hadn't even thought about that.
It's a whole new layer of complexity, and this is where the conversation gets bigger than just politics.
Yeah, I can see that.
This connects to this broader discussion about the ethics of AI and how we use it in society as a whole.
It's a huge question.
Yeah.
What role do we want AI to play, especially in something as crucial as our elections?
Absolutely. I mean, think about the sources you sent in. AI predicting voter turnout, potentially helping craft policy decisions. It makes you wonder how much power we should really be giving these algorithms.
So where do we go from here? What does the future hold for AI in politics?
Honestly, it's tough to say for sure. The technology is advancing so rapidly. But I think one thing is clear. AI's influence is only going to grow.
Okay, so to sum up what we've talked about today, AI did provide some new tools for campaigns, but its impact in 2024 wasn't as dramatic as some people thought.
Right.
We also talked about how the concerns about AI-generated misinformation, deepfakes, that stuff is totally valid and something we need to keep an eye on.
For sure.
And it looks like AI's influence in politics is probably just going to get bigger and bigger.
That seems very likely.
So here's a thought-provoking question I'll leave you with. If AI is going to be even more involved in future elections, what steps can we take to make sure we're using it responsibly? Maximizing the benefits and minimizing the risks. It's a question worth pondering, folks.
Absolutely.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of AI and elections. We'll see you next time.
See you then.